I wanted to talk a little bit about a philosophical idea, and actually, it's an idea that we experience that we know every day, but we don't often talk about it or have words for it. It's this idea of duality, qualified non dualism, and non dualism. And for folks engaged in a spiritual quest, you kind of run into those terms every now and then. When we start out, the world is dual. That means God is always separate from me. We'll never unify. You know, at the fundamentals, Christianity proposes this idea, although the saints of Christianity have experienced something quite different from that, although they're careful about how they word it so they won't get in trouble. Dual means that you believe you will always exist separate and apart from God. And so if you go to heaven or if you go to a hell, you'll always be separate, but you'll either be with or apart from the divine. Then there's qualified non-dualism, and this is the idea that God is everything. You know, God is everything, and I'm a part of that everything. So there's more of a unity. We're not separate, and yet I'm the smaller part of a greater whole. That's called qualified non-dualism. And then there's Advaita, or the idea of one without a second, non-dualism. And that is that God alone exists, and all of this is just a seeming, or like a dream within the mind of God, and that it has no substantial reality to it, that we are actually like characters in a dream, and God is, as it were, the dreamer of all of this. For centuries, you know, these three different camps of believers or thinkers, philosophers, as you will, have fought over this in India. And Ramakrishna has the view that basically they're all true from a perspective. As long as you believe yourself to be a body, as long as you believe that this is me, this body is me, then God and you are separate, that you'll experience the world as a duality. So it's not false, it's a perspective and a valid perspective. But then once you go inward and kind of have more of a sense of yourself as spirit, as an individual soul, that soul is somewhat messy when you try and give it boundaries and whatnot, and so it feels you relate more to God as the whole, and you are a part of that whole. And then as spiritual life progresses, Ramakrishna says that the highest realization, the highest knowledge, is that God and you are one. That is, God with you. God is one with you without an ego. When you let go of that idea of me and mine, that experienced state can be Advaita, that one without a second. The three of them are all true. There's no need to fight over them. From a given perspective, all of these ideas are right. Hanuman is talking to Rama, and Rama asks him, Hanuman is a great devotee of Rama, and Rama is kind of the incarnation of God in this story. Rama asks Hanuman, how do you see me? How do you view me? And Hanuman lays it out very clearly there for us. He says, well, when I pay attention to your body, when I identify as a body, I see you as a body. And so I see that I am I, and you are you, and we are separate. He says, but in deep meditation, when I come to know my nature as a spirit, then I see myself as a part of you, and you are the greater whole. And then he says, when I go deeper and become unified with that all-pervading self, then I know that you are I and I are you. And you see this kind of mirrored even in the prayer of Jesus just before the crucifixion, when he talks about that oneness at several different layers. And this whole mystery of a unity and a duality, you also run into that in the first chapter of John, where John describes the Word as being God and with God. So that's this mystery of division that's not quite a division, that doesn't really exist, but can be experienced. So it's an apparent division, but not a substantial division. So I just lay that out there. I was going to talk about the crucifixion today, and I thought, well, that has a lot to do with duality. And then I thought, well, maybe we'll elucidate the idea of duality a little bit. So there you have it.